7:03 on this Monday, January 12th. Welcome to the morning warm-up. I'm Trey Lyle. That is Ty Tracy. Morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. And Ty, another weekend of sports. We are one step closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I was trying to think. It's
Okay.
like divisional champ. Yeah,
We got two more rounds.
Yeah.
2 more rounds. So
I had to think like, hold on. I was thinking about the national championship as well.
yes, we're one step away from
Yeah,
there. But
that's why I was like, hold on.
let's start with the NFL with in case you missed it.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
Boy, oh boy, have these NFL playoffs been very, very exciting to start out. Let's start with the games on Saturday. Of course, every game this postseason you can listen to right here on VTR in Sports, including tonight, right here on VTR in Sports after the Megan Duffy show at 6 p.m. We will have the Monday night wild card matchup between the Texans and the Steelers. So jam-packed show for us here, or a jam-packed day for us here on VTR in Sports. We'll also have the Fast Lane at 5 p.m. today when Ed covering the Commonwealth, getting you caught up on everything that's going on there. But let's dive right into the first game of the playoffs. And Ty, the Rams almost botched it. Rams 34, Panthers 31. I guess the Panthers just somehow have the Rams number this season, but the Rams escape with the win. Matthew Stafford 24-42 for 304 and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams 13 carries for 57 yards. Jalen Coker for the Panthers had a big day. 9 receptions for 134 yards and a touchdown. I ultimately the Rams just made one more play by scoring that game-winning touchdown late in the game. But Ty, you got to give the Panthers credit for fighting in this. But the Rams move on to set up a very interesting second round game, which we'll get to once we get through all the matchups.
Oh yeah, and I was like, I thought you were gonna say something else, but that's what I was waiting for. But yeah, I believe that it was a good matchup. I mean, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay came right at the right. I mean, they had a good game plan to end. They walk off with a win. A go ahead win to move on to the second round. I believe to play the Bears next.
That's why I was going to get to it when we get through all of them.
Yeah, that's my bad. I don't know.
It was yeah. But speaking of the Bears, down 21-3. I'm getting texts from Ed Lane saying, "How is Caleb going to luck box his way back into this one?" Or blah 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 blah. Well, he didn't luck box his back in this one. Now, did the opposing team coach maybe hand the game to them? I would say yes. But the Bears come back from 21-3, a 21-3 halftime score to win 31-27. Caleb Williams was 24-48 for 361. He did have 2 interceptions, which again, I'm not here to excuse all interceptions in the world, but Ty, I think you would agree. Both those interceptions were on 4th down, and one was like basically a punt the way he threw it, and the other was basically a busted play from the start. I think a bad play call by Ben Johnson, and he was just trying to make a play again on 4th down. Like I'm okay with my quarterback throwing interceptions on 4th down because let's say he takes the sack there, well they're getting the ball anyways. Like I'd rather have an interception on 4th down really are kind of an overrated stat because it's a turnover anyways.
I mean,
but that's we're not here to talk about his two interceptions. He played well, especially. I mean, it's kind of the embodiment of the Bears season. The fourth quarter, he was awesome. Big game from Colston Loveland, 8 receptions, 137 yards. Ty, I think the Bears. You have to give the Bears a lot of credit for how they came back in this one, and I think Caleb played really well. And I know I'm the biggest Caleb Williams supporter here at the radio station, But again, I don't think you can watch that game and sit back, especially the throws he was making. He made one of the hardest throws like the fourth down throw he made where he had a rollout and like basically was not like literally just like off both feet and had to like arc it to Roma Dunze,
Mm-hmm.
which was on I think it was like a 4th and 13, 4th and trying to find the play. It was a 4th and something. That's all I know. I'm trying to let's see here. It was a 4th and 8 where he made just he rolled left and was throwing across his body and just somehow found Roma Dunze. Like I tweeted that only like 3 QBs in this league can make that play, and I feel very confident saying that. I feel like it's him, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. Like I feel like those are the only 3 quarterbacks that could make that particular play. And maybe that's an overreaction, but in that moment it was 27-16, 5.5 left. Like Bears score, Bears get the 2. Virginia Lesson, Alameda Zacchaeus gets a touchdown, by the way, in that one. And then all I know is the Iceman, which great nickname. They have a well designed play for the touchdown for the win, which to Maryland legend DJ Moore. We're just keeping it all local here. And the Bears go on to win. But I my takeaway from that game, outside of the Bears took it, the Packers handed it to them. Like I feel like Matt LaFleur in that second half, like here are the second half possessions for the for for the Packers. Punt, 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 touchdown, missed field goal, end of game. And the bigger thing is you're up 21-3. This is the time of those possessions. A minute 7, a minute 39, 2:36, 51, 3:32 was the touchdown drive. A minute 27, and then that was the final minute 43 of the game. So Ty, again, give the Bears a lot of credit. I think they played really well, especially down the stretch. There's a reason why I had them in the NFC Championship game. Granted, my NFC Championship game is now a second round matchup because of a certain team in Philadelphia, which we'll get to. But I like this is not the first time Matt LaFleur has kind of botched a playoff game.
Just like this probably
And
this probably was 5 or 6 years in a row for him.
Well, yeah, he had Aaron. Remember, like, what was it? They were down right. It was down 8. Was it 8 when the game against Tampa where they scored?
I think it was down by might be 6 or
no, it was 11. They were down 11, and they didn't go for 2.
Yeah,
he instead kicked the extra point to make it a 4-point game, right?
Yeah.
But Todd, as I look it up, just talk about the botch coaching that we saw in Green Bay.
I mean, it made me question Matt LaFleur's coaching when it comes to playoffs, especially when it's a win and go home situation, because he started doing some crazy stuff. You like, this is not Matt LaFleur during the regular season, because Matt LaFleur during the regular season, he coaches well, but playoffs sometimes it's just like you question his coaching, his game strategy, what he's thinking out there. And I just feel like it wasn't second half. They just laid a huge egg, and you really had them right there.
My bad. I messed it up. So it was 2:05 left. I'm assuming they had timeouts. They were down 8, and it was 4th and goal at the 8, and they kicked a field goal to make it a 5-point game.
Yeah.
That was the NFC Championship game against Tampa.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it just questioned me. And I understand that was like, that happened 2020. It was different, and it's different like scenarios. Okay, I trust my defense, but like that last night, well, not last night, Saturday night, that is something you cannot. That's going to bite him really bad.
And defensively, you could clearly see the loss of Micah Parsons because they just could not get the closing sack they needed. Like defensively, they just couldn't get the like the Bears defense is not like what makes the Bears defense like. The Bears defense is like a lot of the Cowboys defenses that were quote unquote good with Micah, is that they would give up a lot of yards, but they would either stop you in the red zone or turn you over. And the idea being, which for a team that's basically rebuilding their roster, it kind of makes sense. And so the Bears lead the league in turnovers.
Yeah.
And Now, granted, they're gonna have to fix that for next year. Like, that's not a sustainable thing.
I
Going
mean,
back
that's
going
if
back
they,
to,
that's
like, Washington,
that's if they keep Matt LaFleur though. That's one thing.
which that brings up a whole different conversation because, like, the former president of the Packers' son is John Harbaugh's agent. John Harbaugh's a Midwestern guy, would love to coach the Packers. Matt LaFleur is in a contract negotiation, so it's not a I think LaFleur stays because he's had, like, very like, it's kinda like the Sirianni conundrum in Philadelphia where I don't know if Matt LaFleur is the best coach, but he's had too much success to kind of get rid of him.
Mhm.
Same thing with Sirianni. Like, I don't think Sirianni is the best coach, especially when controlling an offense, but he's what, 5 straight postseasons, 2 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl win, and I think has the best winning percentage of any active coach in the NFL. And, like, the only 2 people are, like, Curly Lambeau and George Halas have a better winning percentage than him,
Mhm.
which, again, that's just insane to think about. But thi this was no, I think Jags Bills was the best game of the weekend. This was close. It's either this game or Jags Bills was the best game of the weekend so far of the
I
playoffs.
mean, what about I could put the Rams and the Panthers. That was probably
Yeah, but that was like, oh my god. But that to me wasn't like high level play. That was like, how are the Rams letting the Panthers still in this?
but it was the Panthers like really was fighting. That's what I was like. You
Yeah,
can't
you have
fall
to
asleep
give
on
them
that
a
game.
lot of
Yeah,
credit.
you
But
can't fall asleep on that. But
I was entertained by all 3.
yeah,
Like, or like the first 4 games of the playoffs. Granted, the Sunday night game was a little disappointing, but that was because I think Ty and I could block better than the Chargers offensive line, which
yeah.
we'll get to. But I, I think the first 4 games were entertaining. One for me personally was not, but the first like this NFL playoffs, if this is any indication of how it's going to be, please make sure you have the VTR in Sports app and listen to the entire NFL playoffs right here on VTR in Sports for free, by the way. Especially, that Bears Packers game was on a certain A to Z brand. And if you didn't have that, Prime membership, you could have listened to it for free right here on VTR in Sports. All right, let's get to Sunday now. Ty, I have a theory about this game I want to throw to you. Bills, this was the hardest game for me to pick all weekend, and I ended up picking the Jags because I thought they were a better team. They were a better team all around, and the way they played down the stretch of the season, won 9 straight, blew out the Broncos. Like, Bills 27, Jags 24. I don't think Trevor played necessarily great. He didn't play necessarily bad. He did have some bad stretches in that game, but he also had some insanely good stretches. It's kind of Trevor Lawrence. But like, if I'm Jacksonville, you finish the season 13-4. Like, I think you're gonna feel really good. But to me, watching that game, it was so obvious. Even my dad texted me this. I really felt like going into that fourth quarter, I was like, whoever wins this game is representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. To me, it felt like the AFC Championship because those 2 teams were playing so well, and Josh Allen was so good. I mean, shocking. Josh Allen good at football. He was 28 to 35, 273 and a touchdown. He also ran for 2 scores, which were 2 tush pushes, but other way, this is a really big win for Buffalo in a postseason, which again, I hate the argument because we're literally talking about a Josh Allen who was 13 seconds away from beating Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. But like, there will be a narrative around Josh Allen, especially even though he has to go on the road for 3 games, that if he doesn't do this with no Lamar, no Burrow, no Mahomes, and doesn't get to the Super Bowl, like that, there's going to be, I think, a dumb conversation, but a conversation around Josh Allen.
I mean, it was gonna be more to Sean McDermott as well.
But the conversation will focus, like, it already started. Like, I know. So, like,
I mean, because it's Josh Allen. It's
because
it's
the quarterback. It's the quarterback. It's because it's the quarterback, and especially because the quarterbacks that are not in this bracket. Like the thing is, and I think Drake May grew a lot this year, but like, if we want to rank quarterbacks in the AFC playoffs, honestly, it's Josh Allen at the top, and I'm talking about the AFC side, and then like a canyon, and then every other quarterback. And I don't care how good Drake May has been this year. Like, you're telling me in one game you're not taking Josh Allen over Drake May? Like, anyways, I will say this: the Broncos. I feel bad for the Broncos. First time they make the playoffs since they are the 1 seed since they went to Super Bowl 50. They're like, oh, okay, we can repeat that. they get a bye week, and then what do they get after their bye? We have to play him. They have to play Josh Allen. Good luck with that.
I mean, I ain't gonna doubt the Broncos, but still, I mean, offense has been suspect, yes, but
We'll pick that game.
It's Sean Payne.
But Ty, again, back to my theory.
Yeah,
I think Bills Jags is the AFC Championship game, so I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. What do you think about that? Because I thought to me the level of play in that game, in terms of high level play, especially compared to Patriots Chargers, felt completely different than Patriots Chargers.
I mean, yes, but I still feel like, I mean, I had my hopes between the Bills, the Broncos. I always say the Patriots because you gotta think about it.
I think the Patriots are a year away. They played way too of an easy schedule.
Yeah, that too. But I still feel like Mike Vrabel, he still knows what to do. He's good at game management, all that. So that's why we got coaches like that and know what they're doing.
I will say this:
team good positions. Yes, I'm gonna have my faith in that.
If Tre'Davious White can turn back the clock like he did in the game against Jacksonville, like he looked like the all Pro Bowl corner that he used to be in that game. In this game the other night, to his credit. By the way, then to the next game, 49ers 23, Eagles 19. So that happened. Brock Purdy 18-31, 262 and 2 touchdowns. The best way I can sum up this game is the best throw of the game was from Jawan Jennings, who threw a 29-yard touchdown to Christian McCaffrey on a trick play. That ultimately is what got San Francisco the lead. Outside of the opening drive where they the lead back essentially to make it 17-16. Philadelphia got it to 19-17, and then San Francisco did score, made it 23-19. Eagles get stopped on the drive. To me, Philadelphia, after the opening score, and then unfortunately George Kittle tore his Achilles, which that sucks. The moment that kind of changed the game was the second half drives for the Eagles against statistically the worst defense in the playoffs. 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. 4 plays, -4 yards, punt. 10 plays, 23 yards, field goal. 3 plays, -3 yards, punt. So in that sequence, it went from, and that was in the second half, it made it 16-10, and it was basically the third quarter. And that was the moment where you had an interception, you had a punt from San Francisco. Philadelphia had the momentum, and Brock Purdy did not look great. And you didn't put the 49ers away. And I would argue Kyle Shanahan put 2 really good drives together, the 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter. And I don't know if I would say stole one, but the issues for Philadelphia offensively, conservative play, just looking disjointed, whether it was the
game situation,
it came back to roost. All the problems with Philadelphia this year came back to roost. And to San Francisco's credit, I mean, they're if you wanted to rank their 5 best players, I think they're all hurt.
I told you
Kittle.
Before.
Well, no, Trent Williams is the only one I think that's healthy, and McCaffrey. Good, because McCaffrey is definitely one of their 5 best players. But 3 of the 5, Kittle, Bosa, and Fred Warner, are all hurt.
Yeah, I told you before, like with Kyle Shanahan, the man knows how to win regardless of player.
And I'm not the biggest Shanahan guy.
I mean, I know you're not, but you look on the field like this man just know how to win. Like, like you said, they playing with number straight. 2 of the best players. That's it. What number straight? Like players you probably don't know, you never go see on the field, and they still manage to look good,
especially defensively. Like,
yeah, Robert Saleh has deserved a lot of credit as well.
I think the game more resides with Phil. Like, I don't come away from that game like San Francisco has a shot against Seattle, because I truly don't think San Francisco will beat Seattle. I mean, you listened to that game a few weeks ago. Like, Seattle, that game should have been a way worse than 16-3 or whatever it was the score. What was the final score? It was a 13-3. Like, it was really like 40-3. Like it felt like that's how bad Seattle beat them. I do think Ed brings up a good point in our chat about the Philadelphia offensive line not being as good, but they looked decent. Like they looked good in the first half. They were moving the ball against Saquon had 26 carries for 106 yards. Like they were moving the ball with the running game. It just I think there will be changes in Philadelphia. Now, I don't think there will be a head coach change. I just think it has now been proven.
Offensive side change.
It's been proven when Nick Sirianni has had his hands on the offense has looked disjointed.
Mhm.
The two best offenses for Philadelphia under Nick Sirianni has been when Shane Steichen had complete control and when Kellen Moore had complete control. And they're clearly two better play callers. I mean, I think Steichen got as much out of that Colts offense as he did. And then actually, I think the Saints down the stretch, once they got Shuck in there, had a really good offense down the stretch of the season. The Saints kind of were an underrated team down the stretch of the season. So Philadelphia season's done. Thank God I don't have to listen to them or watch them anymore. I was mad in the moment, but then I kind of was like glad it's over. So that sets up the NFC side is set. My NFC championship game, ironically, Rams, Bears, and then Seahawks, 49ers are the two matchups there. As for the AFC, after the Patriots won last night, 16-3, I don't want to go too much in this game. Simply put, Justin Herbert got his ass kicked last night. I think he did as much as he could. But I just think the
what
team
can you do? We ain't got no O lineman.
Yeah, they just could not block. Obviously, coming into the season, they had Slater and Joe Alt, like the Chargers did. They were supposed to have a good offensive line, but I just think anytime like the hits Herbert took in that game, the fact he was still in that game kind of amazed me. But I wasn't very impressed with New England. They got the one touchdown in the fourth quarter, but they made enough plays to win. They won 16-3. They will play the winner of the Texans and the Steelers. Now, if I'm the Patriots, I'm heavily rooting for the Steelers because they're just I do not like the Houston matchup for them. But Ty, I'm again.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm going with it. I don't know about you.
Well,
You better go with the Texans.
no, I think we both picked the Texans
Yeah,
win
I
this
was
game.
about to say.
I think the Texans are going to win. I'm saying if I'm a Patriots fan, I'm rooting for the Steelers.
Oh yeah.
Because like if the Steelers can steal one somehow, do some voodoo Aaron Rodgers magic, then I think that we're probably getting the Bills Patriots AFC Championship game. So anyways, a lot of issues all around. We'll talk more about the NFL playoffs with Lake Lewis, get his thoughts overall. Coaching carousel. Speaking of the coaching carousel, something interesting in Washington, staying with the headlines. Washington has its offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator still TBD. But Ty Davis Blau, the I want to say he was the assistant quarterbacks coach, is now the head coach. Or not the head coach. He's not that. Dan Quinn did not get fired. He is now the offensive coordinator.
I knew what you meant though.
and play caller for the team. He is a rising star, and we're going to talk about this with Lake tomorrow. I think Washington hired someone possibly a year or two early because he was the favorite to land in Detroit as their offensive coordinator, and I think they did not want him to leave the building because they think he's a really good young mind. And it's a big swing by Dan Quinn to get a first time offensive coordinator for the situation they're in. And it's very much a boom or bust hire because in most cases, when you have a Super Bowl team, unless you are the offensive play caller, you want to kind of have a guy who's experienced. But I do think this was a guy in David Blau who played quarterback in the NFL, Purdue legend, by the way. I believe David Blau was the quarterback of the Purdue team that upset Ohio State. Remember the game? That was Rondell Moore.
That was like in 2000. No.
I think he was the quarterback of that Ohio State.
Like it's
you know the Rondell Moore game.
It's been so
yes,
long.
He was the 49-20 Purdue. See, I am the king at this, man. All right, Dwayne Haskins was on the other sideline. They had
Yeah.
the I forget the kid's name who was battling cancer, was on the field. So
It's been so long.
David Blau, the new OC, and again, I think this is. I don't think you can read this as why are they hiring a first-time offensive coordinator. I think it's they felt like they had one of the best young offensive minds, and the only way they were going to keep him was make him the offensive coordinator. My guess is they're going to bring someone with as like an advisor who has an experience calling plays, and that's how they balance it out. So interesting hire there. All right, when we come back, portal season is here. So we'll talk about that. Lots of additions. Plus, someone did get denied their 7th year of eligibility. And we'll talk about that. This is the Morning Warm Up on VTRN Sports.
Is it time for a new place to call home? Moving out on your own? Perhaps your existing lease is up for renewal. Looking for a new roommate? Or maybe you just need a change of scenery. Then you need to check out brownstoneproperties.com. We have Central Virginia's largest selection of apartments, townhomes, and single-family homes. Applying is easy with our online application. Visit us online to begin your search at brownstoneproperties.com.
Have you been hit by the winter doldrums? Are you itching for a place with more than a couple hours of daylight? Start your journey to a warm weather escape with us. Scuba classes are forming right now at Aquatrek Adventures. We can have you ready for a warm, relaxing excursion to a sunny tropical destination, including our spring getaway to sunny Florida. Take the first step. Call Aquatrek Adventures on Mill Lane in Salem and visit our website at aquatrekadventures.com to sign up for the certification or your trip.
Hey, Hokie fans, are you still getting your Hokie sports news from other outlets, or even worse, the newspaper? Well, you're missing out. Tech Sideline has assembled the largest and most talented team to ever cover Virginia Tech athletics. If you want Hokie sports coverage that is second to none and will make you the smartest fan at the tailgate, subscribe to TechSideline.com for just $12 a month or $120 a year. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time, period. Subscribe today at TechSideline.com.
Do you have a sports card and memorabilia collection?
Wow.
Did you inherit one? Not sure what to do with it? BNC Sports has been your local hobby store for over 30 years, and they'll provide their professional assessment and can cash you out. No collection is too big or too small, so don't drop the ball. Stop by the mall or give us a call. BNC Sports, the game starts here.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:32 on this Monday, January 12th. I really want to figure out like a good. Have you ever watched the movie Space? I don't want to say. Yeah, I can say Spaceballs. It was a parody movie of Star Wars.
A little bit.
Okay, I want to call the portal like use the Schwartz and do something playing off of that for when we talk about the portal. But let's get to it. All right, portal time. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to update you about the portal, and we'll also talk college basketball in a few moments. But I do want to send a note about Jamie Chadwell. He is recovering after undergoing successful surgery for what the school calls a serious but treatable medical condition. So just thoughts and prayers to head coach Jamie Chadwell. Appears to be recovering well. I know looking back, he mentioned how they're not going to do their typical mid-February spring practice and go to a traditional window. Now, I don't know if that's more because of how the season. I think part of it's probably because of how the season went, and it was just so long in between the time they practiced and not. But also, obviously, for medical reasons. So we are glad to see he is recovering, and so thoughts and prayers to Coach Chadwell. All right. Speaking of Liberty, they picked up some commitments. Peyton Jones, Duke transfer running back, Cam Davis, the Florida State running back, as mentioned. Bryson, shout out to our guy Bryson. We'll have him on Wednesday, but he's like the ACC to Liberty to all Conference USA running back is what they're trying to do. It seems like by adding, I think they needed, Dickens came on late, but adding more depth to the running back room is big there. They're adding a lot into this roster. Ty Ashton McShane, a Boston College transfer cornerback. Um, they've added in, and ultimately they also got their quarterback transfer, which was former Wake Forest and Charlotte quarterback Deshaun Purdy is come in. So it seems to me, and that's probably not all the transfers they've had since we last talked about it. But I do think this is they're getting guys with P4 experience, and I think P4 talent that are looking for a bounce back, and that's always, I think the staff can handle that, and is shown even this season, even though it was a trying season. You look at Evan Dickens, for example. Evan Dickens came to Liberty, had an amazing year, and now went back into the portal and is at Boston College. But I do like this portal strategy. It seems like they've, one, focused on beefing up the offensive defensive line, and two, have gotten at least what appears to be talented players at the skill position level, which they just needed to reshape basically every skill position on offense, at least.
Yeah, because they knew that it's time to make some changes, add some more depth to certain areas. They had to focus on certain positions they knew they was lacking of. So I feel like they're making the right move. Now, my biggest question: how are they gonna look? I mean, I'm still not gonna be too excited. I gotta see how they look first. I mean, it sounds good, but let's see the result, the main results about how these players look.
Now, updates you about DJ Lagway. Of course, we talked about how he visited Baylor, or he visited Virginia. He commits to Baylor this past weekend, or last week. It might have happened on Friday when we talked, or Thursday when we talked about it. But I do want to reiterate: DJ Lagway heading to Baylor. Yale linebacker transfer Ezekiel Larry is committed to Virginia. The third edge rusher commitment on Friday was from UTSA defensive end Nana Anawahu, Anyanwu. So I took my best guess at that. UAB running back Solomon Beebe announced his commitment to UVA. Georgia State transfer safety Jalen Jones committed to UVA. And so on and so forth. A lot of commitments that we've had over time. As I run through the portal editions, it's been fun. UNC tight end Connor Cox signed with Virginia as well. By the way, I do like Virginia's graphic. They did the EA college football, and then you can change, to create a player. It actually looks like the old school Madden ones, and they swipe it over to Virginia. I actually like that. Michigan edge rusher Devon Baxter commits to Virginia, former 4-star out of Maryland, coming from Michigan. Ezekiel Larry commits to Virginia as well. And then an interesting visit over the weekend. So we'll go through the timeline for Virginia. So obviously I think we mentioned the Trinidad Chambliss thing, or it might have happened after the show on Friday. Trinidad Chambliss denied a 6-year waiver. He's currently going to sue the NCAA, probably in the state of Mississippi, to get a preliminary injunction. But why I bring that up is another person that was denied their waiver for a 7th year, which again, keyword 7th year. So if anyone wants to get upset, 7 years is a lot, too much college football.
That's
right?
Too much.
I'm sorry. Chandler Morris was great, but Chandler Morris got denied his 7th year of eligibility. It appears this college year is done. He's going to explore all avenues, but UVA quickly moves and gets a visit from Bo Pribula, the former Penn State and Missouri transfer quarterback, which is interesting. I don't want to say it appeared that Bo Pribula was going to be Virginia Tech's backup plan if they didn't get Ethan Krunkmeyer. But it is interesting how Bo Pribula was favored. Like as soon as he came in the portal, heavy Virginia Tech connections, and now he's visiting Virginia. Which by the way, shout out to Kobe Crawford for 247 Sports. There was a moment in time last year where Bo Pribula was on campus at Virginia Tech and about to sign with Virginia Tech. Before Kyron Drones announced he was coming back. And then after that announcement, it leads to obviously Bo Pribula going to Missouri. I think he played well at Missouri for the most part. I think his style would fit with what Tony Elliott wants to do offensively. So, by the way, and then Will Bettridge and Daniel Sparks, the punter and kicker, or the kicker and the punter, I should flip those two because that's what positions they play, are also back for Virginia. So, I think all three teams, we're going to get to Virginia Tech's portal haul. Obviously, Virginia Tech needs to add more than both those two because they're basically reshaping their entire roster. But again, I think Virginia, coming off of last season, is getting really good talent. And again, we're not fully going to know this talent till we see it on the field. But I think building off of last season was the biggest thing for Virginia. And it appears they're doing it with really good talent, with talent that is an all conference kind of level at the group of 5 level, or has shown production. And that is one thing that you want to see is production. I think you take your swings on the 4-star players from like the edge from Michigan that's coming to Virginia Tech, or Virginia, excuse me. You take your shots on those type of players because they're fit like those, but you also need to have, you can't just take your shots on all those type of players. You need to add production. And I think both Tech and Virginia are doing a really good job at that type. But Virginia, I like, again, I think I'm going to like all three portal halls for all three teams, but I think Virginia's portal hall appears to be kind of a repeat of last year.
Yeah, definitely. They like with I was about to say Tony Elliott. I was about to say Tony Bennett.
Mhm.
Tony Elliott is really, I like what he's doing with strategy, changes his recruitment, and becoming portal heavy now in order to win.
Yeah, they modernize their outfits. So
Yeah.
I think you'll see more high school additions for Virginia Tech over time. I think Virginia, we'll see. I know when I might get Ed. I know you're listening, Ed, in the carpool lane, to ask Tony Elliott his philosophy going forward, because this was are you going to keep doing these portal heavy rosters, which is great and all if you can nail evaluations,
But
but
it's gonna hurt
it could
too.
hurt you where like
develop
over time. Because look at Florida State. Like I will like here, and again, I would have to look at the list side by side, but this is me basic. It seems to me Virginia is getting a lot more short term options, like 1 to 2 years of eligibility, versus Virginia Tech, where I would argue I think a majority of their commitments have 4 to 3 years of eligibility, which again, their rosters are in two different spots where I think Virginia has somewhat more of a foundation than Virginia Tech. But Virginia Tech is like, all right, we're going to rebuild this roster in the portal, but we want guys with multiple years of eligibility. They have some that have one, but like a majority, and we're going to get through the Virginia Tech portal haul, what it is so far in a second. But my point being, what is your philosophy in this? Are you going to get 1-year Band-Aids? Like Liberty in the portal might have to focus on 1-year Band-Aids, even if they get guys with multiple years of eligibility, because, for example, you get the Evan Dickens of the world, who is a really talented player and really good. Well, if he has a season like he did, and even to a lesser degree, like if he has a 1,000-yard season, well, he's right back in the portal. But if you're Liberty, if you can focus on being that bounce back spot and getting good talent and nailing those evaluations, then you're in a lot better place going forward. So Virginia Tech kicks it off with, I'm going to just read you his size first, Ty. 6'5", 251. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's an edge. Cameron Morgan. K-A-M, I'm going to call him Cameron. It's Cameron. I don't know why I'm complicating that. It's Cameron. It's just spelled weird. K-A-M-A-U-R-Y-N. I'm pretty sure it's Cameron.
I don't know what you're saying nothing, but I don't disagree with you.
Cameron Morgan,
Okay.
6'5", 251, consensus 4-star. He was at Baylor. He goes to Virginia Tech. Then Hokies get so I'm going to view this guy as a high school player because he's a redshirt freshman, and basically didn't play for North Carolina last year. Bryce Baker, 6'2", 200 pounds, former 4-star high school recruit. If Virginia Tech signed him as a high school recruit at quarterback, he would have been the highest quarterback Virginia Tech has signed since Tyrod Taylor. Shows how talented the guy is.
Yeah.
And this is to pair along with Ethan Gruckmeyer. Ethan Gruckmeyer will have, I believe, 2 years of eligibility. You get Baker for 4. So you get your starter. Like what we said all along, Ty, was you're going to get a guy who's your Band-Aid. I wouldn't say your Band-Aid, but your instant impact. And then you want to get a guy who you can develop, i.e. what Oregon did. They brought in Dylan Gabriel and they found Dante Moore. And it works really well. And again, this is not that. It's the lesser degree of it, because I'm not here to say Bryce Baker is going to be the number 2 pick in the NFL draft.
You want to develop a young player because you know you.
But you got a quarterback you can develop, and you got a quarterback that can start right away.
Yeah.
So, which Grunkmeyer has not officially committed yet, but it appears he's going to commit. Quayshawn Brown, the slot receiver from Duke, which had arguably the best photo of bowl season, at Trey Lyle VT on Twitter. He did the so in the Kellogg in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, he scored I think it was ultimately the game-winning touchdown, and of course they had the bowl of the bowl of cereal, and there's just this epic photo of him jumping in like with his like this. If you watch it on the stream,
the Marshawn Lynch,
the Marshawn Lynch celebration without holding his male parts. We'll just put it that way. But he jumps in. It's an all-time photo, and so he commits to Virginia Tech. They add another commitment, Marlon Jackson from Louisiana Tech, 6'2", 206. So they're rebuilding. I mean, they had to rebuild basically every position group. Then they get some more big boys. Offensive lineman Michael Troutman III, 6'2", 308. That's a big boy for being a freshman. Again, 6'2", 3. Like, they're getting not just big people. They're getting big people, Ty. 6'2", 308. They don't make people like that. 6'2", Eric Mensah, the former Ohio State defensive tackle, who once was a Hokie commit in the summer of 2023. Again, 6'2", 302, commits to Virginia Tech. Cortez Harris, the edge from Penn State, 6'3", 245. 4 years of eligibility, 3 years of eligibility for another Penn State commit, another edge, Malachi Williams, 6'3", 252. Ty, I think one of the best edge rooms in the country consistently has been Penn State, and you're replacing a lot of your edge room with guys from Penn State. I feel like that's a good call.
I mean, yeah, you gotta think about it. With James Franklin, he's heavy on deep up front. That's his main priority.
He said he would rebuild the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, that always has been his philosophy ever since he was at Penn State, is the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter, Deni Dennis Sutton, like they're good edge rushers at Penn State, and we're not going to see what this full Virginia Tech team looks like until they get on the field, but I feel really good about it. And then probably the I don't want to say the crown jewel of this class, but the biggest name so far for the Virginia Tech Hokies has officially committed. The tight end Luke Reynolds, former 5-star, consensus top 2 tight end in the transfer portal. I believe he is the overall, as I look it up, he's the 31 best player in the portal, a 4-star. This is a really big get for Virginia Tech. Most importantly, Ty, 6'4", 248. That's a big dude. And I think Penn State's pretty good at producing tight ends. Pat Fryermuth. What's his name? Tyler Warren. I'm trying to think of the guy in between. Mike Gesicki. That's what I'm thinking. But again, with this portal haul, it is It's a lot from Penn State, which is not shocking considering you hired Penn State's head coach. But and basically, Penn State is replacing its team with Iowa State's players. So like the team that actually gets screwed here is Iowa State on the long term. But big people move little people, and again, I think that's going to be like when you remember how best way to understand football. And this is how I described it to my girlfriend Storm, is at the end of the day, if you watch the big people moving little people and you have better big people, you will win a lot of football games. And it appears to me that the biggest growth of Virginia Tech, like it's the same thing. What was the biggest thing that Virginia grew from last year to this season? I wouldn't even argue it's quarterback. I wouldn't even argue it's skill position. They got bigger. They got bigger people that were better at moving bigger people. Their big people got better at being big and playing well. And UVA made leaps and bounds at the line of scrimmage that they were able to find the right skill players and to go get 11 wins. Now, Virginia Tech is trying to do that same thing. And I'm not the biggest into portal rankings. On3 and 247 do it differently, but I think On3 does something unique where they actually account for the transfers leaving. 247 doesn't. And if you want to put this in perspective on what the portal haul is for Virginia Tech, they have the third best transfer portal class according to On3. And that is weird to say Clemson is 14th on that list. That's an adjustment, but whatever. But my point being, this is a big time. This has been a big couple of weeks for Virginia Tech. And it shows why you brought it. Like, it shows why you brought in James Franklin. And coming into this portal, I think, Ty, you would agree, the one who needed to nail it the most was Virginia Tech. And it appears they're doing it. And again, this is all rankings. It doesn't matter until you play a game. Like, for example, Texas got Cam Coleman, the best receiver in the portal class. Now, I think that makes Texas and probably even better team than they were last season. And I might be on the bandwagon again. And I same thing goes for Texas Tech. Texas Tech had the number one portal class, and everyone talked about the money they're bringing in. But it didn't matter until they played it on the field.
Yeah.
And the fact they got a David Bailey, and obviously Jacob Rodriguez is already there. But my point being, what Texas Tech brought in, it didn't matter who they brought in until it went onto the field. And they properly took that talent and executed and coached well and had a team that I know offensively wasn't there, but had one of the best defenses in the country. And honestly, a historic defense, considering how well they played in the Big 12 this year. And then they're coming back, and they're next year, they're upgrading at quarterback. But again, Brendan Sorsby has never had to play this high level of football in his career. Like, he played at Cincinnati, but the expectations of Cincinnati was not to win a college football playoff game. His expectations are to win a college football playoff game. So, just keep that in mind as I am, Virginia Tech's third. Virginia is actually in the top, is 39th in this. But again, we have a couple more days left. We have a week left in this portal before we get on out of here, and we're doing our best to keep you up to date. Ty, did I miss anything from the portal that you were fascinated by, or do you have any overall thoughts on the portal?
I'm gonna just wait to see it football season, see how these players look. I'm not saying nothing against the portal. Just like they sound good. Just wait to see how they look on the football field.
You're right. So basically, what I just said.
Yeah,
got it. Glad we're on the same page. I mean, again, Virginia was picked 13th in the conference, and it was because no one knew their roster, and you base it off of last season. Like, I don't think Virginia, because it's James Franklin, I don't think Virginia Tech's going to be picked based off, 13th based off of last season, but they're probably not going to be properly assessed where they rank in the ACC because they're basing off the team they saw last season.
Yeah.
So All right. We also had some college hoops this past weekend. Let's run through those scores when we come back. This is the morning warm up on VTRN Sports.
Mark Dalton here with Terry Volkswagen. Get ready to fall head over heels for the perfect VW SUV. One size doesn't fit all, though, and that's why Volkswagen has an SUV for everyone. From the compact and affordable Volkswagen Taos to the tech-packed Tiguan and the spacious Volkswagen Atlas. No matter which one fits your lifestyle, you'll love the comfort, performance, and safety. Stop by Terry Volkswagen on Forest Road in Lynchburg or check us out online at terryvw.com. Terry Volkswagen. You'll love our cars.
When shopping for auto liability insurance, it's wise to consider the best policy, not the cheapest. Hi, I'm Randy Trost with Trost Law. It's crucial to have more than the minimum insurance on your auto liability policy. This protects you if you injure someone or if someone without proper insurance hurts you. Having the right policy ensures you have sufficient underinsured coverage to take care of you and your family. To learn more how we can help you navigate these challenges, visit us at trostlaw.com. That's trostlaw.com.
We're joined by Corey Argentino from Earthright Mid-Atlantic and Earthright Roofing. Corey, blending those two together, the ability to work with people for both their roofs and solar, how does that work?
Well, it really coincides because a lot of folks needing solar panels also need a new roof. And some people just need a new roof. And with a trusted brand like Earthright, you can't go wrong doing your roofing or your solar project or both with us.
How beneficial is it as well that when consultants come to someone's house or business, they can get consultation on both solar and roofing?
This saves a lot of time. You're not having two different people come out. You got one person. They understand both. The process is less time consuming and the project moves along a lot smoother having one team, one project working together with the other team.
Corey Argentino from Earthright Mid-Atlantic and Earthright Roofing. Corey, thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
Indeed. Come by, see the showroom on Timberlake Road in Lynchburg, and learn more at earthright.com.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:56 on this Monday, January 12th. Welcome back to the morning warm-up. I'm Trey Lyle. That's Tyrone Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Ty, quickly, let's go through these scores. Virginia Tech 78, Cal 75. Hokies get the bounce back and get the win. And I guess what appears to be another close game. Amani Hansberry, 15 points, 9 rebounds. Data Ames had 21 for Cal. Neo Dallas had 11 and 6 assists. Hokies played a lot better in this one. They escaped with the win. I guess they're going to keep until they get Tyler Johnson back. They're going to keep playing these close games. They really just need to get healthy in this one, heading into a big game against SMU, which I think SMU will be unranked. They lost to Duke, but it's still, I think, a Q1 opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, coming up this week against SMU. Virginia cruises to a 70-55 win over Stanford. Thomas DeRitter, 22 points in that one. Virginia keeps looking really, really good. They look like a tournament team. They look like one of the best teams in the ACC. So credit to them as they got the win. And then for Liberty, they look like the best team in Conference USA. Zach Cleveland nearly has a triple-double, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, as Liberty is now 5-0 in the conference, 82-74 over Sam Houston. This is, Liberty's looking really good to repeat as Conference USA champions.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty, I think a lot of good basketball going on. I think important for Virginia Tech to get back to 2-2 in ACC play after the Stanford loss, and for them, like if you lost that game, like I don't know if it kisses NCAA tournament chances goodbye, but it puts you way behind the 8 ball, and now you're you get back afloat, and you have a big game against SMU this upcoming week. Virginia, they just keep looking really, really good. They have a big test this week when they head on the road to Louisville. They have Louisville, SMU, North Carolina. So this is a truly big test, these next 3 games for the Virginia Cavaliers to see where they stack up in the ACC. So it's gut check week, I guess you could say. As for the Flames, yeah, they're just cruising right now. They take on New Mexico next. They have 2 games at home this upcoming week, and appears to be like this is another special season for Rich McKay and the boys. This week, a fun week in store for you. We'll talk more about college hoops. We'll also talk more about the latest in the portal. Plus, we'll talk about all the changes going on in the NFL, the John Harbaugh changes. We'll talk a lot with Lake Lewis, Commanders and NFL Insider, his thoughts on the NFL playoffs, why David Blau was the choice for the Commanders at offensive coordinator. What does that mean for Jaden Daniels? What does that mean for them going forward? And what is his expectations for them as defensive coordinator? A lot going forward, a lot in store for the rest of the week. That will do it for us. Have a great rest of your Monday, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to the Morning Warm Up on